Alright, these are the quiz corrections for quiz number 10. This was specific on just section 3.2. It says the 15th, but you guys actually took this on the 13th. Question number 1. If you've noticed, every single quiz, I've actually put a solving equations problem on there. So if you're still struggling with that, come see me or get some help after school tutoring. Number 1 asks you to solve. Solve in this case means to get this variable by itself, p. Now you could have done this problem in two ways. The left side over here I show by distributing. So I take the negative 8 and multiply by p, you get negative 8p. Negative 8 times negative 5, this will give you a positive 40. So that says 0 equals negative 8p plus 40. Here I'm just going to subtract 40 from both sides. I'll get negative 40 equals negative 8p. And then you can divide both sides by negative 8. These will cancel. Negative divided by negative is a positive. 40 divided by 8 is 5. P equals 5. Remember, the great thing about solving equations is you can always check your answer. You can take p equals 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. 0 times anything is 0. If I was doing the problem, because I'm a little more experienced, and as you are more experienced as a math student, you'll recognize that you don't always need to distribute. Here I have multiplication, negative 8 times this expression, so I'll divide both sides by negative 8. 0 divided by negative 8 is 0, so I'm left with 0 equals p minus 5. The negative 8s here would cancel. Add 5 to both sides, p equals 5. If you're doing one part of it correct, like if you were distributing and you just got negative 8p, I gave you 2 points out of 4. If you knew how to distribute or you got pretty far but couldn't get p equals 5, I gave you 3 out of 4. Question number 2. Graph by using intercepts. In this problem, you can just graph it by using slope-intercept form. Right here, this is in standard form. Standard form says the two variables are on one side. To get it into slope-intercept form, I decided to add y to both sides. So plus y here, plus y over here. These will cancel. And I added 3 to both sides. You'll get y equals 3x plus 3. Well, this is in slope-intercept form, so my slope is positive 3. So if you made this a fraction, 3 over 1, and positive 3 over here, this constant is your y-intercept. So you go up to 3, and my slope of 3 is a rise of 3. 1, 2, 3, right 1. A run of 1. I gave you 3 points if you had the wrong y-intercept, meaning you didn't start here, maybe you started below here, but you had the right slope. A positive slope, meaning left to right. If you just put a dot at positive 3, I gave you 2 points. Maybe the rest of the graph is wrong, your slope is wrong, so I'm trying to give you at least some partial credit. Any questions on that problem? Question number 3. It's multiple choice. It's asking you to solve an absolute value equation. Notice how the absolute value signs are isolated. There's nothing in front or behind it. Once you have the absolute value sign isolated, it means you can split your answer into 2. One's positive, one's negative. So absolute value of x plus 4 equals 7. Well, here, this plus sign outside the parentheses does nothing. So you just have x plus 4 equals 7. Subtract 4 from both sides, and you get x equals 3. Over here, I need the a negative. So you can either distribute, which most of you like to do. That gives you negative x minus 4. Or I recognize that I can just divide by negative 1. There's an invisible 1 here. This becomes x plus 4 equals negative 7. You subtract 4, and you'll get x equals negative 11. You have 2 answers, x equals 3 and x equals negative 11. So the absolute value sign, the bars there, should give you a hint that you should have two solutions. Question number 3. Here you have multiple choice. You're just asked to multiply. I'm going to use order of operations. I'm going to multiply left to right. Notice how all the numbers in parentheses are next to each other, which means that none of these are addition or subtraction. So this is not 4 minus 1. This is actually 4 times the negative 1. That gives you a negative 4. 8 times negative 5 is negative 40. Negative 4 times negative 40 gives me positive 160. Remember, right here, this is not subtraction. It's not negative 4 minus 40. I made a mistake. That should be question number 4, huh?
Yeah.
Question number 5 is this can, or I have the numbers 1, 2, and 3. They're all multiplication here. Remember, this is how I know that you've done it correctly or not. You should not have any repeating numbers in a row, nor a column. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 2, that is 6. This box here has no math operation, which means it's a freebie. So all you have to do is write the number 3 there. 4 spaces that multiply to be 6 are 1 times 2 times 1, that's 2, and then 2 times 3 is 6. Question number 6 says graph y equals negative x minus 2. So it's already in slope-intercept form. For some students it was confusing because you didn't have a number there. Well, the invisible number or coefficient is a 1. You can make it a fraction, put it over 1. Therefore, your rise is a negative 1 and your run is a positive 1. Y-intercept is negative 2, the constant. So go here to negative 2. I go down 1, right 1. Down 1, right 1. Same thing. If you can get the slope correct, meaning it's negative, then I give you 3 points out of 4. If you just put a dot there at negative 2, I give you 2 points out of 4. Question number 7 on the back side. There's a total of 7 questions times 2 points each, so this whole section was out of 14. You didn't need to explain your answer, you just need to say true or false. Every time I have a check, that means it's true. Every time I have an X, that means that statement is false. And you should be paying attention to the word there. The word and means you need to have what? Both. I need 2 checks. The word or means what, class? You only need 1 check. Only one of them needs to be true. For example, I'll do number 5. 4 is less than or smaller than 8. That is true with my check. 4 is greater than 2. That is also true. I have 2 checks there, therefore this statement is true. I'll just go over this last one over here. Number 7, the inequality says 0 is smaller than negative 2. That part is false. 0 is greater than negative 3. That is true. But this compound inequality statement has the keyword and, which means you need both of these to be true, which means that you only have 1 true, so the answer is false. Again, if it's helpful for you for number 7, you can just draw a number line, and that might help you visualize it. Question number 8, which one doesn't belong? Very common core question. Identify the expression that does not have the same value as the other 3. Explain your reasoning. Remember, the absolute value just means distance to 0, so this would give you a positive 3. This would also give you a positive 3. This is already a positive 3, and this one's negative 3. So all 3 other options equal a positive 3, and the reason why I selected negative 3 is because it's the only one that's negative. Now, if you just circled negative 3 and you didn't explain, I gave you 2 points because it says explain your reasoning and you did not. Whoa. Okay, question number 9, multiple choice. Which is an equation of the line in standard form? Mine didn't show up. Class, is this one in standard form? It's not, because it's in slope-intercept form. So if I say y equals, you can cross that one off. All you have to notice here is that my y-intercept is positive 1. And I have a rise of 2. And then, oh no. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I have a rise of 3 and a run of 2. That would give us A is your correct answer. Is that right? No, that's positive 1. Positive 1. If I make this 0, that means y is at 1/2. That would make that one incorrect. Well, it is B. You can recognize if you transformed all the other expressions, they wouldn't match up this equation. So positive 1 here, rise of 3, run of 2. Question number 10, I made extra credit. It says write 2/3 x plus 7 in standard form using integers. That basically means you need to put x and y on one side. So I will subtract 7, and I'll move this y over by subtracting y. I get 2/3 x minus y equals negative 7. Notice you can't have a fraction, so I'm going to multiply this whole expression by 3. 3 times 2/3 gives you 2. 3 times negative y gives you negative 3y. And 3 times negative 7 gives you 2x minus 3y equals negative 21. But notice how none of those are close. So you can multiply both sides by negative 1. This will become negative 2x plus 3y and a positive 21, which is choice A. So I made that one extra credit. Question number 11 says find the x and y intercept of the line. Remember, when you're finding the x and y intercepts of a line, to find the y-intercept you're making x equals 0, and for the x-intercept you're making y equals 0, so you're doing 2 separate problems. Remember, if you see those keywords intercepts, you can just make this little table with an x 0 and a y 0. Make x equals 0 here, that becomes 0. You're left with 3y equals negative 18. Divided by 3, y equals negative 6. 0, negative 6 is my y-intercept. If you make your y equals 0, 3 times 0 is 0, so you're left with 2x equals negative 18. Divided by 2, and you get x equals 9. Negative 9, 0 is your x-intercept. And the last question. It says solve and graph. So you have negative 3v plus 7 is greater than 22. I need to subtract 7 first, and you'll get negative 3v is greater than 15. I'm here to get rid of this. Remember, this is multiplication, so I'm going to divide by negative 3. Remember, when you divide in an inequality, you have to flip the inequality sign, so you get v is less than negative 5. At negative 5 down here, you're going to put an open circle. The arrow is pointing towards the left. V has to be numbers that are smaller than negative 5. So that would be negative 6, negative 8, negative 10, negative 100.